Welcome back to the Nono Ninja run for Fallout 4. This is episode 17, but unfortunately when I was recording this episode and episode 18, I forgot to turn my microphone on. So there is no commentary to this video, so what I'm doing right now is watching the video and recording commentary over it. I apologize for that. It is going to mean that there will be a little bit of jerkiness. You might see a little kind of video freak out in some spots. That's just because I'm watching the video and then doing a screen recording of the video. So again, apologies for that. I will endeavor to remember to turn on the microphone when I record episode 19. But as you recall, what we're doing at this point is we've got ballistic weave, we've got the ballistic fiber that we need. We're just not high enough level. So I went and grabbed my battered fedora. That is one of 4 pieces of headgear in Fallout 4 that you can apply ballistic weave to. Newsboy cap is another one. That's +1 charisma. There is another piece of headgear that is +1 luck that you can use, I think. It's either +1 luck or +1 charisma. And then there's the green rag hat, which gives you no pluses to any special stats, but it does give you 5 extra energy resistance. So if I run across one of those, I'll probably grab one. But in between the previous episode and this one, I kind of gave some thought as to where I could get enough experience to get to level 25. I'm just over level 24 right now, and one of the things that came to mind with it being dark and with me being quite a bit higher level was to come fight these raiders here on the USS Riptide. As you recall, I was kind of avoiding this because one of these raiders has power armor, and you can actually see that raider up there kind of towards the top of the screen, and then there's another raider closer that's just kind of patrolling. Now as I came here, I was surprised to note that usually right up by that cooking station that you can see right in front of me there's usually a raider standing there, and then there's one around this corner, and neither of them were there, which surprised me and made me a little nervous because I thought, well, they might be just wandering around and I won't know where they're at, which makes things more difficult. But it turned out that that they just aren't here. And what can sometimes happen is a roving gang of super mutants can wander through and take out the raiders that are closest to the bridge. And yeah, so I'm guessing that's the sort of thing that happened. Now at this point I wasn't sure what's going to happen, where is the person in power armor, so I like to get up and kind of duck behind this container and just be careful, and then go into third person mode view to see where they are. Usually you can, at night, you can see whether they're coming or not because their headlamp will show you, and you can actually see the headlamp kind of flickered there for a second off the side of that vehicle up there. And there's the raider in the power armor, and then I saw, okay, that raider was walking away, so time to move up and take a little swing. I didn't quite get there in time before he turned around, but was still quick enough to get a sneak attack critical. And yeah, basically that was the end of that particular session. Boat is cleared, and I just checked for loot and that sort of thing. And yeah, so that's all that really happened here. Checking the loot, nothing really great, I think, came to pass. So we'll kind of talk about where we're going to go next. I was trying to think of places near Hangman's Alley and kind of near Backstreet Apparel, which is where my nearest armor workbench is. stuff around this area that was safe, or relatively safe, and yet where I could gain some pretty quick and easy experience. And the next place that I went, I think we'll see here in a little bit. Yeah, so where I'm headed is, as you recall, back a few episodes ago, Tinker Tom from the railroad gave me a quest called Weathervane, and that's a repeating, what they call Radiant quest, except it doesn't repeat forever. Eventually, you're just done with all the spots, but there's a lot of them. But it's that Parkview Apartments location, which is kind of right around the corner from Diamond City. So I decided to head on up that way and get some relatively easy experience, not just from placing the Mila that Tom wants me to place, but also there's pretty easy to kill raiders inside the building. So you can see right there, I've got there's a little board sticking out from the wall. That's where Tom wants you to put the Mila, but to put it there, you have to go into the apartment building and take the stairs up to the top. Inside here, you've got this wonderful visual glitch that Fallout likes to put on there, which, of course, I'm saying is one of the things that Nono the Ninja was trying to investigate pre-war, and that's why she was a spy set up to have a child and just be the typical American housewife sort of thing. Or I shouldn't say housewife, she's a lawyer. But mom, wife, lawyer, and spy. And so she's investigating these weird visual phenomenon to see if they pose any sort of threat or what's going on with them. So this apartment building layout is pretty straightforward. There's the one raider on the first floor. Coming up on the second floor, there's a turret that's easy to take out. And then up on the third floor, there are two raiders in a room. If you don't disarm the can chimes down at the bottom of these steps, it will alert them. But since I did disarm them, they're just sitting here. One's sitting, one's sleeping. Pretty oblivious. And take them out pretty easy. And that's it for the inside here. And yeah, I mentioned how they have a settler under their bed with bits of his brains kind of laying there, and I thought, that can't smell very good. But then they have a dismembered head in the fridge, so, you know, raiders, what are you going to do? Now once we get outside, there's going to be 3 raiders that we need to deal with. One is right there and just asleep, so that's of course very simple. And then around the corner there's 2. They're awake, but they'll be pretty slow to react. The only problem is they're ways away, so you can't blitz immediately, which gives them a little bit of a chance to see if you're that you're there. They don't really have anything good, so a little bit of EXP for killing them, and then we can move up to the roof, which is where Tom wants Mila. As soon as I start up these stairs, you're going to hear some gunfire. It's a scripted little event of raiders on this side and super mutants on the other side having a firefight. I'm going to throw some Molotovs over there because the raiders usually lose this fight, and I want to be able to take out the survivors, and plus that way I can get a little bit of XP for when those super mutants are killed. I was checking there to see if any of the raiders were legendary, but they weren't. Now as you see when I go around, you'll notice that that guy is legendary, and there's an enforcer back there. So I'm now throwing regular frag grenades instead of Molotovs because they'll do a bit more damage. That legendary is already mutated, so he's got the yellow glowy bits kind of going around him. So I'm just kind of trying to help the raiders not die until the rest are just about dead. And so there's one raider left, and I took out the turret, so there's just the legendary super mutant. And she says she can do this all day and then immediately dies. So apparently not all day, but it does allow me to basically just have the one super mutant left. And I can't see right now. I can't get him in bats. So I just throw another Molotov and kill him. You can get the idiot savant on that, which is very nice. And so there's a super mutant down below on the ground. He doesn't have much chance of seeing you, and then there's a couple of turrets down there. And I'm going to remain in caution until the turrets kind of give up searching for me. But first I'm going to throw a grenade down and try and take out the super mutant. Ideally it'd be great if I could take out the turret as well. But yeah, I see the super mutant down there, so we'll throw the grenade, which kills the super mutant, doesn't do any damage to the turret. So I decide, okay, turret is not going to be something I can hit right now, so we'll go across and check out this legendary super mutant, see if he has anything good for me. And it's Acrobat's combat armor. So Acrobat's is really nice if you get a pair, so left and right legs, because it reduces falling damage by 50%. And the way the game works with that is it actually says each one is a true 50%. It's not what you might expect, which would be one is 50% and then the other one is 50% of the remaining damage. So you get a total of about 75%. No, it's a true 100% damage reduction for falling, which basically lets you jump off buildings for free as if you were wearing power armor. Now in that chest you did see I grabbed, there was some combat armor chest plate. Normally I wouldn't take that because I have metal, which is almost as good, not quite, but since the moment I hit level 25, one of the things I'm going to be doing is switching everything over from lightweight to ultra lightweight. I would go ahead and take that combat armor and just perform the enhancement on that rather than the metal chest piece. So in doing this little quest here, we've gotten a decent amount of XP, and now we need to figure out where else can we go nearby. We're pretty close, but we're not quite there yet. So what I did after this was I kind of thought, well, what else is in and around Diamond City that I can get some relatively simple XP for? And what I kind of came up with is down the side street near Hangman's Alley, the street that goes just directly north of Fenway Park here, the Diamond City. There's a street, and then there's a side alley that if you go down that side alley, you spawn 3 dogs. Not 3 dog from Fallout 3, but 3 canines. One of them is always an alpha, and whether it's a regular alpha or a vicious or that sort of thing, seems to be possibly level dependent. So it's a little bit of a risk, but at this point I'm feeling pretty confident, especially if I can get a sneak attack. So once you get really close to that suitcase, that's when the dogs spawn. And so we'll see them coming around the corner. There's the alpha. It is a vicious, but I got the sneak attack critical, so we didn't have any problem. The other 2 are just plain wild mongrels. They'll go down easy enough. But it also means not great amount of experience. Even getting the Idiot Savant on that one still only got me 82 experience. So I'm not super close yet to level 25. So I decided to continue on down the way and see if any traps had respawned in this little area down where there are sometimes raiders. The door being shut kind of told me that the area had kind of respawned. Whether there was going to be raiders in there, usually not, but you always want to just be careful just in case. And once I saw that there wasn't a raider down there, I was pretty sure there wouldn't be any up on top, but still being careful just in case. And then pick the lock on this explosives box. Always great to get free explosives.
That's it.
And then there's 2 more traps around the corner. Give me a little bit more XP. Drop the gun that I just disarmed from that trap. And I could see at this point I am not far enough along that disarming a couple of traps is going to get me there. So I started to think, okay, what else is there? And I decided I was going to head and talk to Jack Cabot at Cabot House to tell him I found Emogene, and go to Tinker Tom in the railroad and turn in that quest to get that XP, and that should be enough to get me to 25. But then as I got close to Hubris Comics, I remembered, hey, I don't think I actually went into Hubris Comics, and that reminds me, did I do the Method to the Madness quest that I had mentioned in an earlier episode that I'll do later? And so then I got to thinking I should probably check and see if I did that, and I had not. So I decided, well, since I'm almost right on top of the area for that, let's just go ahead and get that taken care of. And which is good, because had I continued running, this particular raider right here would have seen me and probably started taking pot shots at me. But instead, I remembered just in time and was able to just take her out. Now she's kind of a spotter, I guess, for the raiders across the street, down the little side alley. And so this Method to the Madness, it's a Creators Club addition to Fallout 4. It's not a true mod. It's one that you can buy from with their Fallout coins or whatever they call them, which are more, I think, more useful for Fallout 76. But periodically they'll just make something free in that little store, and so I grabbed this while it was free, and unfortunately uninstalling it requires you to actually just go into your file system and find the files involved and delete them, or remove them from that folder at least. And so it's kind of a pain if you ever do want to use this. So I just leave it in. These raiders are here anyways, And there's a little bit of experience that you get for kind of quote-unquote doing the quest. But the big draw is there's a couple of really nice pieces of equipment that I'll show you here at the end of the quest. But per the rules of this run, I can't use that equipment anyways, so it ends up not really mattering all that much. So there we finally leveled up to 25, and immediately we'll take Armorer 3. Ideally, if there was just an armor workbench just sitting right there, that would be perfect, but as there isn't, and I'm more than halfway done clearing out this location, I decided I'll just finish it up, and then we'll do our armor upgrade afterwards. So there's a raider in that little side room. He always, or she, will come walking out in 3, 2, 1, boom. And there's only the one inside this little oyster shack, or whatever it's called. It's Shenley's Oyster Bar. It doesn't look like a bar at all, and it doesn't look like a restaurant either. I don't know if that's the door that customers would come in, or what, but it just kind of looks like a kitchen / storeroom. So I was always kind of confused about that. But it's an unmarked location, so part of me wonders if it's maybe some sort of inside joke with the people in Bethesda or something of that nature. But up here on the roof there's 2 raiders. One is asleep and one is just sitting there. The guy that's sitting there, by the time he would even stand up, I would be able to take him out. And the one that's asleep doesn't hear him get killed and just stays asleep, so we just do a quick stab with the serrated combat knife. So that's it for raiders up here, and it should be it for raiders downstairs, although sometimes a raider can get caught inside. There's a little room that it's called the throne room, and there's a key in the duffel bag to open that door. The story of this quest is over there in Huber's Comics. There's a holotape or something of that nature where someone is describing, this is pre-war, that there was a guy named Dave that was taking his role in their radio plays too seriously and was starting to think he actually was a wizard, and started talking about how he could levitate. And he went out onto the roof, and according to the person telling the story, they thought he levitated over on top of Shenley's Oyster Bar. I don't know what actually happened, if he jumped or whatever, but so you have to find a way to get up there to get the key to be able to unlock the restroom, and then that completes the quest. Get a little bit of XP, and yeah, so there's 2 items in there. If there's a raider trapped in the restroom, they get slammed by that door, kind of cartoonishly, like as if you just smashed it open on them, but this time there wasn't one in there. And so the first thing is this fortifying iron helmet. So it's got the fortifying effect, and it's got great dam resistance for a helmet. So it would definitely at this point be the best headwear I could get, although once I upgrade that battered fedora, it would be better. This Furious Steel Sword is better than what I've currently got. It does 182 damage. The Serrated Machete does 175. Plus it's got a legendary effect on it that increases damage as you swing it. So if something didn't go down in 1 or 2 hits, it would just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger as I swung it. But of course, due to the rules of this playthrough, can't use either of them. So I've dropped them both, and we'll just continue on. Both of these doors are chained from the outside, so I usually like to just open them up, simply because if I happen to be nearby and need to duck in here for some reason, it's nice to have that open. Now, right on the other side of this wall, there's two raiders that have ambushed a caravan merchant sort of guy. And yeah, my sneak level 4 makes me just able to just run right up there. But as you can see, I totally missed the second guy and took some decent damage from his one shot with a pipe rifle. So thankfully, I didn't get the shotgun to the face. That would have been much worse. So with that damage I took, I decided to just eat a small amount of food just to heal up a little bit. And yeah, roasted Mirelurk meat will take me right up to full. But yeah, those two raiders have apparently ambushed that guy kind of out here on the road, and they killed his Brahmin, but they didn't take the delicious Brahmin meat. They just dragged him in there to loot. And so I grabbed the Brahmin meat, and yeah, so now I'm going to head over to Backstreet Apparel and finally upgrade my army fatigues and the battered fedora to ballistic weave 4, which will immensely improve my defense and make me feel a lot more confident about going to a little more dangerous places. I wasn't sure at this point, why did I get into caution? I'm guessing that there's the raiders that I took out previously kind of on the other side of that building with the fire escape situation may have respawned, or other raiders came to check up on them or whatever. So I didn't figure it was too much of a problem. I went back into hidden pretty quickly. Once we got in here, that load time took a long time, so I just skipped ahead 30 seconds in this video, which is one nice thing about coming in and doing the voiceover afterwards. But you can see I was at 105 and 97. That's with the rooted perk giving me plus 50 on each when I'm standing still. So now once I get these two items crafted, you can see I've got 4 ballistic fiber left over, which is a good start towards when I want to have ballistic weave mark 5 once I get to level 39. I don't have enough materials. I need oil and leather, so I can't make that shadowed, which means I'll have to run back to Hangman's Alley, get the materials, come back here, and take care of it. It's a bit annoying. I really wish Hangman's Alley had an armor workbench. Honestly, if it had an armor workbench instead of a weapon workbench, that would be fine with me. I imagine other people, especially gun users, would not like that because you're upgrading guns a lot more than you are melee weapons. But yeah, so I'm just going through here, and every piece of gear that I'm using, I'm switching from lightweight to ultra lightweight. And that Acrobat's combat armor, I've got an extra lighter build now, so I can get that sitting there for free. Just easier for carrying it around. And yeah, even this one I'm going to go ahead and make ultralight because I know I'm going to be coming right back to make it shadowed, and then once we do that we'll replace that metal chest piece with the combat armor chest piece. So as you can see now, with the ballistic weave mark 4 2 pieces equipped, I'm at 275, 277, way better, and that's of course still with the 50 damage resistance from rooted, but even without that we're at 225, 227, which is it's huge. One of the big things to kind of be aware of is that number. Basically, if something is going to do damage to you, first it gets weighed against your damage resistance, And so having a 275 or even 225 if I'm moving damage resistance means that for something to do full damage to me, it has to be doing more damage than that. So it'd have to be 280 to do its full damage, which there's not a lot of things in the game that do 280 with one shot. And so then it scales the amount of damage that you're taking down based on just how much you defeated the incoming attack by. So something previously that was doing 70 would do full damage to me. Now it'll do a much smaller fraction of that 70 than it would have done. So very big deal to get that, and it's going to make continuing this playthrough a lot safer. So yeah, this is the point where I decided to kind of call it quits. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. Again, 18 will be another voiceover like this, and then we'll pick up with actual at the same time voiceover with episode 19. Thanks very much. See you next time.